What's up with it, guys? So I'm taking a break from my usual sort of NBA driven content to talk about Chelsea Football Club. So it has been, it was sort of given the here we go last night that we will be appointing Xabi Alonso to be our manager, and today it's been confirmed by the club. Xabi Alonso himself has engaged with Chelsea Post, come out with a statement saying how Chelsea is one of the biggest clubs in football, how he's honoured for the opportunity. I just want to sort of speak a little bit about that and what I think it means for this club. So the first thing that I want to touch on is obviously yesterday we lost the FA Cup final. Contrary to what some Chelsea fans are saying and what Rory Jennings is saying, I mean, whether he's a Chelsea fan or not is up to your opinion. I don't think he actually is. But anyway, what I want to touch on is how we played. I think we played really well. I think we had great performances from everybody yesterday. I think we gave everything we had. Yes, we didn't create much on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively we were everywhere. City did not get themselves going all game. It took an Antoine Semenyo bit of brilliance to settle the tie. I think we had some great performances from players like Jarrell Hatto. I thought was amazing. Levi Colwill back after, his ACL tear, his third game back in a starting lineup. He looks already like one of the better centre-backs in the Premier League and our best centre-back already. Him next to Wesley Fofana looks completely different. I thought Malo Gusto was good until he got gassed at the end of the game. João Pedro as well. Cole Palmer was fantastic. I know he didn't get the offensive thing going, but defensively, he nullified Jeremy Doku, and that made such a big difference for us. So unfortunately, again, it's defeat at Wembley, 7 in a row now. I'm numb to it at this point. I think a lot of Chelsea fans probably feel the same. We lost. Remember when we lost to Leicester in the final and went on to win the Champions League. So ultimately, it is what it is. I think after everything that's happened this season, it would have been amazing to end like that, but it just didn't. So I think we have to accept that and move on. It was great to see Reece James back in the starting lineup. Great to see Enzo Fernandez playing well again. Moises Caicedo was good. Marc Cucurella was good. I think it's disappointing. I think, again, if you look at what City have as a team, they have that world-class centre-forward in Haaland. The wingers, they just have wingers that we don't have. Jeremy Doku is, on his day, is a game changer, and Antoine Semenyo was dangerous all game. Pedro Neto is not of that calibre. He wasn't fit enough to start anyway. Alejandro Garnacho, not fit enough to start, and to be honest with you, just nothing of a player in my opinion. Liam Delap, again, just nothing of a player. I don't think there's any future for either of those people. I'd quite like to see... I don't want Neto sold under Xabi Alonso, just what I think of that. I think we really need to hold on to him because what he offers us on the defensive side as well, I think is something Xabi Alonso is really going to appreciate. I think City just have that world-class calibre. They have winning. They have that captain, Bernardo Silva, who, yes, he's leaving, but he has won everything there is to win. Rodri, that composed presence. They have a lot that we don't have. But I personally was really happy with what I saw yesterday. I've watched every Chelsea game this season practically, bar 3 a.m. kickoffs that are blackouts, which are really hard to watch in this country. And if we're comparing that to Brighton away, and we're comparing that to Forest at home, or Fulham away before Rosinha came in, and any game really under Rosinha, I think that was so much better. So obviously the main topic of the video and what's inspired me to make it was Xabi Alonso's appointment. I'm not going to get into the football side because, look, I know Xabi Alonso's CV. I know the style of football is a 3-back. I don't love it with Reece James. I think we need to think about how that's going to work for Chelsea. But I want to talk about what it means. I'm still firmly Blueco out. I don't think there's any way we get any better with them still at the top. Well, maybe that's a bit negative, but unless the way things are, unless they take a step back, there's just no hope for us. I really don't think there is. I think with this appointment, this has to make changes because it doesn't matter if you got Liam Rosinha back, if you got Enzo Maresca back, if you got fucking Luis Enrique in, None of it matters if the board still say we have the final say on transfers and we will sign the players, you put them in the starting 11, because it's not worked. I think you look at this season and you look at the signings we have brought in, right, let's look just purely on the attacking side of the ball. Jamie Gittins. I think there's a real player in Jamie Gittins. I know a lot of Chelsea fans don't agree with that, and Chelsea fans don't necessarily believe in him. I do. But inconsistency and injury. Title of his season. It's been lame from him. It's been absolutely lame from him in terms of the injuries. It's just, well, I suppose that's a bit harsh, but he's not been there. Alejandro Garnacho, nothing player. I'm sorry, I know it sounds like a really harsh indictment, but I can't believe that he is a professional winger, which sounds really harsh. I've watched practically every minute of Garnacho in a Chelsea shirt. I've never once seen him go on the outside, which makes him one-dimensional, easy to defend, and he had, one good game with Aston Villa, but that was because we were ticking, and when we're ticking, we can be unplayable. Yeah. And then we look at Liam Delap, who just is, again, I don't think he's anything of a striker that Chelsea Football Club can get. I'm sure there's a player in there. I have more belief in him than I do in Garnacho, but it's not much. He just pushes people about. There's no drive to get better. There's no drive to hit the ground running. I just think, and then you hear things that he wants to stay and fight for his Chelsea career. There's no way. We need... there was a time in Chelsea history where we had Diego Costa and Didier Drogba. Where, okay, Drogba's older, but the class of strikers, they're like this. They can give you so much on any given time. We've now got João Pedro, who's here, and Liam Delap, who's on the fucking floor. He gives us nothing. When Garnacho and Delap come on, the game's over. There's no optimism. That's the problem. We didn't get any better with the signings. We didn't make any inward steps. I really like, don't get me wrong, Jarell Hato, first class signing. I love that. But why did we then rest on that and say, right, we've bought in Hato, who, when Hato first came in, people wanted him fucking out the door straight away because he didn't hit the ground running. Because that's the expectation that you put on these young players. When young players come in, when you're only signing young players, and we're competing in the Champions League, we're competing for the Premier League, at that point, the expectation is that these young players are going to come and hit the ground running, because we've seen it at PSG with Desiree Doué, who's come in and hit the ground running. We've seen it at Man City with Rayan Cherki, who's coming in and hit the ground running. But they're coming into ready-made systems. You've got at PSG, you've got Kvaratskhelia and you've got Dembele, two of the best wingers in the world already. Admittedly, Dembele's had a turnaround at PSG from what he was at Barcelona, but injuries, pressure, that's come off of him. Kvaratskhelia was already talked about as one of the best wingers in the world, one of the best winging prospects in the world. So yes, it's going to make sense when you bring in, you have sort of world-class foundations, you have leaders, you have your Marquinhos next to William Pacho, perfect dynamic experience, someone who's played their entire career for PSG, and then William Pacho, and you've got Nuno Mendes who's blossoming, you've got Achraf Hakimi who's played at the top class level for how many years? Real Madrid, Dortmund, Inter Milan, PSG, Gianluigi Donnarumma, hell of a career for Milan, won the Euros. That's pedigree. They brought in pedigree. These top teams bring in pedigree. Look at Arsenal, for instance. They brought in this season, they brought in Victor Gyökeres. He ain't hit the ground running, but he was still fucking scoring 100 goals a season. Do you know, there was pedigree there. We brought in people with no pedigree to a team that wants to compete at the same level with teams that bring in pedigree. That's what's so frustrating about it. And that's why it's not going to change. No matter who we bring in, we have to bring in pedigree. And by the sounds of it, that's what Xabi Alonso's coming in. Xabi Alonso is fucking pedigree. He comes in with the CV of being a great player, which every single player in that Chelsea locker room will look up to. Because he has won things that none of them can comprehend. The only person that's comparable to him is Enzo Fernandez because he won the World Cup. Other than that, none of them. So there's the respect instantly. But it won't mean shit unless we say, right, we've got the manager with the pedigree. Let's go sign some players with some fucking pedigree. When we won the Champions League, we brought in Thiago Silva on a free transfer. That's fucking pedigree. Under Abramovich, we brought in ready-made players that were ready to come in and ready to win. And that's what we've not been doing on the Blue Coat. We said, okay, well, this player might be good one day, but that's not fucking pedigree. That's not Premier League titles. You don't... I know that if you go on fucking FIFA and you buy someone that's 18 years old with a 96 potential, by the mid-season they're 85 fucking rated, and you've got a whole team of 85 rated kids that are dominating the league. This is real life. The Premier League is too physical and too high technicality for that to work. So they have to take a step back. They have to. And this is what Alonso has to bring. Alonso has to bring it and say, right, like I saw a tweet saying that he wants to come in and create mentality monsters. That's exactly what I want. We have too much bitching at this club at the referees. We bitch all the time. We had an issue with red cards under Maresca that carried on into the start of the Rossini era. We got rid of that, but then we fell apart as a fucking team. I had this conversation with someone in my family yesterday about the game, and he said, at least you got rid of the red card issues. Yeah, but at least we were fucking winning games. I'd rather have 5 players sent off a game than win some fucking games. Do you know what I mean? We have to bring in the pedigree, and we have to match this manager signing with signings to back that. It's going to be difficult to have the pool now we haven't got Champions League football, but that's okay, because we're still Chelsea Football Club, and we still have world-class players around the pitch. We now have to bring in players to complement that. We cannot take risks this coming up season, because we're just going to rot. We now have to say, right, we've got the top end manager. We've got I'm over the moon with Xabi Alonso. It's the best possible signing. There's not a single person on the market that we could have got that was better. Love it. I fucking love it. But now we have to match that with signings. If we're going to go for the high pedigree, we've now got to go with the signings. You can get, when you bought in Maresca, okay, we bought in someone that's a bit younger, less experienced. Okay, let's bring in a less experienced so they can age together. Which didn't fucking work. And then don't even start me on the Rossini appointment. I hated it from the start. It's not his fault, by the way. I just want to say this, preface this, nothing against Rossini as a guy. He seems like a top bloke and he always said the right thing. Not a Chelsea manager. Let's just fucking forget about Rossini. Let's now talk about what we're going to step into now. That's the most important thing. So, yes, I'm over the moon with Xabi Alonso, but it means nothing unless we get the summer right and we build around the right players, because these players aren't hanging on. We've seen what's happened with Enzo Fernandez. I think he stays for next season, and I think if we have a good season, he's going to stay here for a long time. But if we have another shit season, what's he stand for? Caicedo is the best in the world in his position. Do we keep taking risks? Luckily, we've got Mr. Chelsea and Reece James. But João Pedro, we've seen the Barcelona interest. We have to hang on to him. He's been our best player this season by a country mile. Cole Palmer, who's... It's not... Look, a lot of Chelsea fans turned on Cole Palmer. I would never do that in my wildest dreams. So many people said that. But the weight of him trying to come back and change everything after the injuries and the setbacks he's had, he needs now to have a good World Cup, come back with less pressure, and just being put in the right positions. That's what we need. And this, honestly, this can all change by the start of next season. We get the system right, we get the right players, we can be back. But it's all on the board. So, it's a difficult one. Yeah, so I think that's about summed it up. I appreciate you guys if you stayed through the end of the video. I know for anyone that's returning from my NBA content, this is a little bit different from what you normally see, but it's just something that touches my heart. Chelsea Football Club is so close to my heart, and, you know, I'm sick of Chelsea fans in the media, like your Rory Jennings and like this person, that person. They're not actually Chelsea fans. They use the reactions for views, for clout. It's just long. But I'm a real Chelsea fan. I've been a Chelsea fan since I understood what football was. So yeah, I hope that sort of summed it up. And if you guys have anything, anything you want to add to this, if you know what I mean, anything you thought from the video, please drop it in the comments. My socials will be all in the comments as well. Feel free to give me a follow on there. Feel free to give a subscribe. I can't say I've been doing a lot of Chelsea videos because I'm trying to make this more of an NBA kind of content thing. But if you guys like it, then leave a like, and I'd appreciate any sort of thoughts you have on it. You know, I'm always willing to engage with Chelsea fans that actually give a shit about this club, because there are some of us out there. Alright, so I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.